Do you believe that stoning is part of the Islamic Sharia?
No, no.
Are had punishments like cutting the hands of thieves still applicable today?
My answer will be controversial because many people would think automatically, yeah, that's the law of God written in the Quran, it must apply for all time. But it's not so simple. It would be out of place to apply such a ruling.
There's nothing in the Quran that says that one who commits the act of blasphemy should be punished in this life. Yeah, there's certainly warning of dire punishment in life hereafter.
Yeah, but in this world,
in this world, no, there is no such punishment.
I feel that it's best that the rule is governed according to the majority the decision within a particular state. This seems to work best in our modern times. A democratic system works well, and this is where Islamic societies need to change. I don't have any difficulty with that. Naturally, transgendered people need to get married as well.
So it would be too much of a burden on Muslims for us to say, no, Christmas is something you have to avoid or something like this.
Yes, I don't see that there is an incompatibility. And it is not specifically said in the Quran that Adam was the first man, though Muslims have generally accepted this to be the case. Even people who are non-Muslims, if they do good actions, and they're generally picking the good options from within their range, then God will eventually grant them salvation in the life hereafter.
Now, if you recognize that these views are deviant and they're heretical, alhamdulillah, that means that you have studied Islam to some extent, or you are familiar with the basic tenets of Islam and the Quran and the Sunnah. But if you are not familiar and you don't know why these are deviant or heretical, then what kind of objective standard can you use? Is there an objective standard to determine what is deviant and what is not? I think one standard that has been used historically and that we can use as Muslims is to look at what is the ijma'. What is the body of the Muslim community agreeing on? And this is something that has been endorsed directly by the Prophet ﷺ when he said that his community does not come together to agree on error. There's this concept of ijma'. But ijma' does not mean the community today. It means the body of Muslims over time, especially when it comes to the community of the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, the Salaf in general, and then the scholarly tradition, where we have hundreds of years of scholars who all agreed on certain basic issues. Everything that Shabir Ali is saying in this supercut contradicts that ijma'. Everything that he says is an innovation or is a deviance from that. So this is an objective standard that we can apply, and if you are not familiar, you haven't studied in depth, then you can rely on this as a standard to judge what is deviant or not.
It's amazing how Muslims have something called infighting, where Muslims fight with other Muslims when they disagree on basic tenets. Now, I saw this video. I think I saw it on Facebook or whatever, and it's a new video. It was done earlier today, where this Muslim named Daniel H, I can't pronounce his last name, my apologies, but let's just call him Daniel H, is basically criticizing Shabir Ali for taking some reasonable stance on Quran and on the Quran and Islamic claims. He's basically saying that our Shabir Ali is basically saying a bunch of heretical or deviant views from mainstream Islam. Now, I met Shabir Ali way back in 2015, and Shabir Ali is a nice guy. He talked to me. He answered my questions. I met him in the Shabir Ali versus Nabil Qureshi debate back in 2015. Before Nabil Qureshi died, he had a debate with Shabir Ali. And I think in the break, I met with Shabir Ali. I even took a picture with him. I would post that picture, but my iPhone broke. More reason why you should not get an iPhone. But anyways, because Apple sucks anyways. But anyways, I met Shabir Ali. Shabir Ali is a nice guy. He's a nice guy. Not only is he a nice guy, but he's extremely intelligent. He's the North American version of Zakir Naik or Ahmadinejad. He's like a modern Ahmadinejad, or he's like a modern Zakir Naik, right? Because Ahmadinejad and Zakir Naik are basically outdated now, and Shabir Ali basically took their place, at least in North America. North America being, America and Canada, etc. So Shabir Ali is extremely intelligent, and he's a nice guy too. Now compare this with Yasser Qadhi, right? Yasser Qadhi is not a nice guy. I met him, and I don't have a good opinion about him. I'll just say the stick is too far up his ass. I'll just say that. And another thing is, Yasser Qadhi says even more deviant things, says even more ridiculous things about Islam, and he gets a free pass. He's still like what boggles my mind is that Yasser Qadhi has more followers or is more popular than Shabir Ali, even though Yasser Qadhi doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He says the standard narrative has holes in it. He's basically saying, the Quran's not preserved, even though the Quran itself says it's preserved. So it doesn't get more it doesn't get more deviant or heretical than that, right? So Yasser Qadhi is even more deviant, even more heretical than Shabir Ali. So getting back to the Shabir Ali thing, basically this Muslim, Daniel H, is saying that Shabir Ali is going against the ijma, or he's going against the first three generation of Muslims, or the scholarly Muslim consensus, etc., etc. So I watched the video. I watched that whole video. I cut out the other parts just to make the video short, so I can just get to the point. So basically, Daniel H is saying Shabir Ali goes against Islam for saying these deviant or heretical sects, or these deviant and heretical statements about evolution, Sharia, etc., about celebrating Christmas, etc., etc. My question to Daniel H is, who the hell are you to tell Shabir Ali what he can and can't say? Shabir Ali is smarter than you. Shabir Ali actually debated. How many debates have you done? What is your academic background? What is your like Shabir Ali is like up here, right? Shabir Ali is well respected, and he's well respected and he's well educated about these things. Now, just because Shabir Ali says some things that could be controversial, that doesn't mean he's wrong, right? Shabir Ali none of everything in those clips, Shabir Ali said reasonable things, or he said reasonable statements about various things like evolution, celebrating Christmas, what else, evolution, etc., etc. These are reasonable statements. But no, this Muslim apologist, or this Muslim YouTuber has to go against him, saying no, he has heretical or deviant views, like this person's like the Pope of Islam or something like that. The whole thing is, like, I've learned as a Muslim apologist for more than 10 years, right? I've learned that sometimes if you're going public with your faith, if you're going public with your Islam, not just Islam, but if you're going public with your religion, whether it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, whatever, etc., like atheism, whatever you follow, if you're going public with it, sometimes you just have to do your own thing. You can't listen to the naysayers, right? Daniel H is a naysayer against Shabir Ali. So, none of those everything Shabir Ali said is reasonable, right? And I'm sure he has his reasons for saying it. But someone like Daniel H, shouldn't make a YouTube video. Well, it's a free country. I don't know where Daniel H. lives, but it's a free country. You can say whatever you want. This is just my 2 cents. This is just my commentary on the whole thing, because Muslims are now like attacking other Muslims for having deviant views, etc., etc. My question is, who the hell are you to point the finger at them? Why don't you just focus on your own issues, right? Like there in Islam, there's no pope in Islam. If there's any pope in Islam, it's the Prophet Muhammad, right? Because Islam stems from the Prophet Muhammad, or it started with the Prophet Muhammad. So just because Shabir Ali says some things that could be controversial, that doesn't mean he's wrong, or that doesn't mean he's purposely going against Islam and the theology of Islam and the corrected Sunnah, or the ways of the Prophet Muhammad. So basically, I don't know, because like sometimes you just have to when you're following a religion, you just have to do what you believe is right. Sometimes you have to do what you think is the right thing to do, right? Your imams or your priests or your rabbis or your pastors, they're going to tell you the same thing. They're going to say sometimes you just have to do what you think is right? You can't just rely on anybody. You can't just rely on people. Sometimes you just have to, just do what you think is the right thing to do, or say what you think is the right thing to say. So Shabir Ali, being the rational, intelligent person he is making some rational and reasonable points about various issues, like Christmas, like evolution, like Sharia law, etc., etc. These are reasonable points he's making, right? Now, I don't know too much about evolution. I barely passed, university science courses. So I'm the last person to talk about the whole evolution and creationism situation. But it seems like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam do have this similar problem with evolution versus creationism. There's a really good book called Darwin's Doubt, and I'm going to be putting the Amazon link below. I think this book is $12. So it's not, it's definitely affordable. So just buy this book, read it, and then make up your own mind about creationism and evolution. And there's a bunch of other books, but Darwin's Doubt is probably the best, where this author does give a positive case for intelligent design and the whole Adam and Eve story. And, he does give some positive statements about, why there is a God, and why there's evidence for intelligent design, etc., etc. It's called Darwin's Doubt, and the person who wrote it was not a Muslim. I think he was he was a theist. I don't know if he was a Christian or not. I want to say he was a Christian. I don't remember who wrote it, but it's called Darwin's Doubt. It's a really good book that talks about these issues, about evolution versus creationism issues. I read it a long time ago, so but I remember he did make some good points. But that's not the point of this video. So basically, the whole point is that Daniel H. should just let Shabir Ali say what he wants to say. If Daniel H. wants to go after heretical popular Muslim speakers, he should go after Yasser Qadhi, because Yasser Qadhi deviates way further than Shabir Ali. Yasser Qadhi is now doubting the Quran. He's saying, he openly said he has doubts about Islam. He has doubts about the Quran. He has doubts about, he supports evolution. All this stuff definitely takes you out of Islam. Yet Yasser Qadhi keeps getting the attention that he doesn't deserve. He has a lot of followers, etc. Even though Yasser Qadhi, at this point, Yasser Qadhi has severe doubts about Islam. And just don't take my word for it, right? Just watch his standard narrative has holes in it, which is going around the internet. Every Christian apologist is making fun of Yasser Qadhi for doubting for doubting the Quran, right? People are mocking and laughing at Yasser Qadhi. Well, non-Muslims are mocking and laughing at Yasser Qadhi left and right for having doubts about his religion and being popular and being a popular Muslim speaker. So if you're going after some popular Muslim speaker, leave Shabir Ali alone. Shabir Ali is far more intelligent and far more reasonable than Yasser Qadhi. So if you want to go after somebody, go after Yasser Qadhi. Leave Shabir Ali alone. So basically, when these Muslims do this Muslim infighting, the non-Muslims just sit back, pop popcorn, and watch and eat their popcorn and watch the entertainment unfold with Muslims fighting against other Muslims. No, Shabir Ali doesn't deserve this, right? Talking trash about Shabir Ali or saying he's saying heretical or deviant things is not helping anybody. Is not helping the Muslim community. It's helping the non-Muslim community. It's helping the enemies of Islam more than it's helping the Muslim community. So basically, Shabir Ali is like up here and Yasser Qadhi is like down here, right? So why are you going after Shabir Ali when the real issue is Yasser Qadhi, right? So basically, I don't talk about other Muslim speakers except for Yasser Qadhi on my channel because I think it's wrong. There's no point in doing it. It's slandering and smearing them, etc., etc. I go after Christian apologists or I go after Christian critics of Islam. And sometimes I go after atheist critics of Islam. But Muslims, there's kind of no point unless they say something really stupid like Yasser Qadhi. Yasser Qadhi is the only Muslim apologist I openly criticized on my channel because he deserves it because of his deviant views and his heretical views. So basically, this is my whole 2 cents about this whole thing. Don't let Daniel H. make you have a low opinion of Shabir Ali. Shabir Ali says reasonable and rational points. If you're going after a popular Muslim speaker, go after Yasser Qadhi. Don't go after Shabir Ali, since Yasser Qadhi contradicts and deviates far more from Islam than Shabir Ali does. So this is just my 2 cents. If someone is smearing or if someone is talking trash about a popular Muslim speaker, just ignore it. Just don't indulge with it or try to deal with the arguments. Don't try to make it personal. This person is basically making it personal. So notice in that video that Daniel H. didn't refute anything Shabir Ali was saying. He wasn't saying, yeah, the Quran affirms creationism or the Quran says Adam was the first man who landed on earth. Basically Daniel H. wasn't refuting any of the arguments Shabir Ali was saying. He was basically saying, no, this is the heretical and deviant views, even though nothing Shabir Ali said was unreasonable. He had reason. He had reasonable points about various topics like evolution, Sharia, Christmas, secularism versus the Sharia, etc., etc. So he didn't even refute those points. He was just trying to attack. He was just trying to attack Shabir Ali for the sake of saying, like thumping his chest, saying, Shabir Ali is outside the fold of Islam because he says a few heretical or deviant views instead of just refuting those points. So basically, this is the whole Muslim speak. This is why the Muslim community is going down in flames. Is because of people like Daniel H. who are attacking other Muslims when other Muslim speakers aren't doing anything wrong. They're just doing their own thing. The real enemies of Islam are going scotch-free while the Muslim community is infighting within themselves. When in reality, the threat is outside the circle of Islam. The threat is the critics of Islam, the Christian and atheist critics that need to be responded to and refuted. Instead, Muslims are attacking other Muslims for having slightly different or slightly reasonable points that may seem controversial to the theology of Islam, but that doesn't mean it's dead wrong. Shabir Ali was making some good points. But if this is the way the Muslim community is going, freaking out or wasting time attacking other Muslims, then that's a really sad state the Muslim community is in. And I think the Muslim community really needs to focus on the real problems instead of this petty nonsense. Instead of this petty, this irrelevant stuff that other Muslims say. The real problems with the non-Muslims, not with the Muslims. So this is just my 2 cents about it.